Stop scrolling right now. This is urgent. I'm Carolina, and welcome back to Retiree Talk. Today, we've got breaking news. President Trump just personally signed a game-changing executive order. No auto pen, no gimmicks. This is the real deal, and it's already sending shockwaves everywhere. If you've been worried about stretching your paycheck, if you've been anxiously checking your bank account for any sign of relief, what I'm about to reveal could completely transform your family's finances in the next few months. You do not want to miss this. We're talking about $2,000 stimulus dividend checks heading to millions of low and middle in-home Americans. And we finally have a timetable for when these payments could start hitting bank accounts. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just revealed when these checks could arrive. And friends, it's sooner than you might think. I'm Tony, and on Retirees Benefits channel, we focus on one thing, helping low-income families find the resources and relief they desperately need. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like to choose between paying the electric bill and buying groceries. I know exactly what it feels like to lie awake at night, tossing and turning, wondering how you're going to make it through yet another month when bills keep piling up and every dollar seems stretched thin. That's precisely why I started this channel, to cut through all the confusing news, rumors, and misinformation and give you clear, real, actionable information that can actually make a difference in your day-to-day life. But before we dive into these life-changing updates, I need to ask just a tiny favor. It only takes a couple of seconds to hit that like button on this video. Doing so helps us reach more people who desperately need this guidance and ensures that this critical information gets into the hands of those who need it most. Now let's get straight to the big news everyone's been waiting for. The $2,000 stimulus dividend checks. The headlines say it all. This is a major holiday boost for millions of cash-strapped Americans, and the timetable for these special $2,000 checks has finally been revealed. Tens of millions of people are anxiously waiting for these payments, and President Donald J. Trump has been talking about them repeatedly, making it clear that this isn't just a rumor. This is real, significant, and about to affect countless families across the country. This isn't just speculation anymore. We now have concrete details about the timeline. Here's what Trump said in his recent cabinet meeting. And I want you to hear his exact words. We're going to be making a dividend to the people, and additionally, we're going to be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by, over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great. It's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay. Friends, let that sink in. $2,000 stimulus dividend checks and potentially no income tax in the future. These are massive promises, and Trump repeated this commitment in his cabinet meeting to both his cabinet members and millions of Americans watching. Now, here's the part everyone needs to hear. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just revealed when these payments could start arriving. According to Bessent, payments could start arriving as early as next year, and we're only days away from 2025. But here's the specific timeline. He suggested that checks could come within the first 3 months of 2026. That means we're looking at January, right after New Year, February, or March. These are the 3 crucial months to watch. Bessent said on Wednesday, I think we are going to see $100 to $150 billion of refunds, which could be between $1,000 to $2,000 per household. Now, I need to address something important here. The Treasury Secretary mentioned between $1,000 to $2,000, but President Trump has said multiple times, not just once, but multiple times, that the amount is $2,000, not $1,000. So, it's confirmed that the amount is $2,000, not $1,000, and here's why that matters. If President Trump sends $1,000 to Americans instead of the promised $2,000, it would be a chaotic situation. Trump made a bold promise of $2,000 in relief checks, and sending only $1,000 simply isn't going to satisfy the American people. Experts and political analysts say these payments are closely tied to the upcoming midterm elections, which are just around the corner, making it even more critical for Trump to fulfill his pledge and restore trust among voters. I know many of you have been commenting on our videos, asking why these checks aren't being sent out before Christmas. And believe me, I understand. It's not just about politics. It's about people needing help immediately, not weeks or months from now. But here's the reality. These checks cannot just be handed out. They first require congressional approval. The process is lengthy and structured. A bill must be introduced and passed in the House of Representatives, then move to the Senate for approval, and only after both chambers agree does it reach President Trump's desk for the final signature. It's a frustratingly slow process, especially when you consider that bills sending billions of dollars overseas to other nations often get approved almost overnight. Meanwhile, when it comes to direct support for hardworking Americans who need it urgently, bureaucratic procedures drag things out. Analysts say this is simply how the system works, and while it may seem unfair, it underscores the importance of staying informed, advocating for action, and understanding the timeline these relief measures must navigate before reaching ordinary citizens. Now, let me answer the biggest question everyone has. Who actually qualifies for these $2,000 checks? Trump has proposed giving payments to low and middle income earners. But what does that actually mean? Let me give you the specific details. If you remember, just a few months ago, Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican, introduced a bill with the approval of President Trump called the American Worker Rebate Act. Under that proposal, $600 was mentioned to be given to each adult and dependent. And the requirement was simple. Anyone who makes $100,000 or less would be eligible. Now, analysts and experts are saying we can take the same eligibility requirements from that bill and apply them to this $2,000 proposal. So if you're making $100,000 or less, you automatically fall into the category of low and middle income people, and you should qualify. Here's who's covered. Seniors on Social Security. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits, you're eligible. These are people receiving a fixed amount every month, and they fall under the low income category. SSI recipients, if you're on supplemental security income, you qualify. Even if your income is zero, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. SSDI recipients, people with disabilities receiving Social Security disability insurance, are eligible. You're getting a fixed income, which makes you eligible for these checks. Veterans VA beneficiaries are absolutely covered. If you served our country and you're receiving VA benefits, you're in line for this money. Railroad retirement beneficiaries, yes, you're included too. Spousal and survivor beneficiaries, if you're receiving benefits based on your spouse's work record or as a survivor, you qualify. Low-income workers, if you're working but making $100,000 or less per year, you're eligible. The key point is this. Even if your income is zero, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. If you're making $1,000 a month, you fall under that $100,000 threshold. So yes, millions of seniors, disability benefit recipients, and low-income households are going to receive this $2,000 check. Here's another critical question I keep getting. Are these $2,000 checks going to each household or to each adult and dependent? According to President Trump's statements, it will go to each adult and dependent. He said that U.S. citizens will receive $2,000. He never said it's per household. He said each U.S. citizen will receive it, so you need to keep this in mind. These $2,000 checks will go to each adult and each dependent. That means if you're a family of 4, 2 parents and 2 kids, you could be looking at $8,000 total. That's life-changing money for a lot of families. Now, some of you might be wondering, where is all this money coming from? Is this just more government spending that's going to increase the national debt? Here's what you need to know. Trump has claimed that tariffs are generating trillions of dollars in revenue. Let me show you the actual numbers from Treasury data. November 2025, $30.80 billion in tariff revenue. October 2025, $31.44 billion in tariff revenue. September 2025, $29.70 billion in tariff revenue. Monthly tariff revenue started to jump considerably in April, and it's been steadily increasing between April and September. Now, why is this important? According to analysts and experts, the U.S. only requires $160 billion to send these $2,000 checks to millions of low and middle income Americans. If you look at these charts and do the math, it means that at the current rate of tariff revenue, about $30 billion per month, it would take around 4 to 5 months for the government to collect enough revenue to fund these checks. So when you hear that checks could arrive in January, February, or March, the math actually checks out. The revenue is coming in. And yes, this is real government data showing billions of dollars being collected. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about the challenges ahead, because there are definitely hurdles that need to be overcome. Challenge number 1, congressional approval. Such a plan would need to be rubber stamped by Congress. That means both the House and the Senate have to approve this before Trump can sign it into law. Challenge number 2. Some analysts suspect Trump may be inflating tariff revenue statistics. While the numbers I showed you are from official Treasury data, there's debate about whether those revenues are sustainable long term. Challenge number 3, the political timeline. With midterm elections coming up, there's political pressure to get this done, but there's also potential for partisan gridlock. Challenge number 4, scammers are going to come out in full force. We're already seeing fake emails and texts claiming to help you get your $2,000 faster if you pay a fee or provide bank information. Friends, the government will never ask you to pay to receive benefits. Now, I also want to mention Trump's other executive order that he signed Thursday because it shows he's actively signing orders and getting things done. President Trump signed an executive order that blocks states from enforcing their own regulations around artificial intelligence and instead aims to create a single national framework for AI. This is significant because it shows Trump is using executive orders to push his agenda forward, while Congress works on the bigger legislation. Other nations are following similar paths with AI regulation, and having a unified national framework could help America compete globally. This demonstrates that Trump is actively signing executive orders and making things happen, which gives us hope that the $2,000 stimulus dividend checks will also become reality. Let me give you a clear action plan for what you should do today to make sure you're ready when these checks start going out. Step 1, make sure you filed your 2024 taxes or will file them as soon as possible in 2025. Even if you didn't earn enough to be required to file anyway. This is how the IRS knows you exist and where to send payments. Step 2, if you're receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, or railroad retirement, make sure your direct deposit information is current with your benefit agency. Paper checks take longer and can get lost. Step 3, update your address immediately if you've moved in the last year. Check with the IRS, Social Security Administration, or VA, wherever you get federal communications from. Step 4, sign up for direct deposit if you haven't already. If you don't have a bank account, look into getting a free account at your local credit union or through programs like Chime. Step 5, be patient but stay informed. We're in late December 2025 now, and the first quarter of 2026 is right around the corner. January, February, and March, those are the months to watch. Step 6, protect yourself from scams. Any message asking you to pay a fee or provide personal information to get your stimulus check is a scam. The government will send these automatically based on your tax returns and benefit records. Here's what I want you to take away from this video. President Trump has made a clear promise. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has provided a timeline, and the tariff revenue data suggests the money is there to fund this program. We're looking at potential $2,000 checks for each adult and dependent who makes $100,000 or less per year. That includes Social Security recipients, SSI, SSDI, VA beneficiaries, railroad retirement recipients, low-income workers, and fixed-income households. The timeline is the first quarter of 2026, January, February, or March. That's only weeks to a few months away. For a single mom working 2 jobs and barely scraping by, $2,000 could mean catching up on rent and not worrying about eviction. For a veteran dealing with service-connected disabilities, this could mean affording medications and maybe even getting ahead for once. For a senior on Social Security trying to stretch a fixed income, this could mean eating real meals and heating your home through the winter. Friends, I know times are tough. I know many of you are exhausted from fighting just to survive, especially during the holidays when everyone else seems to be celebrating while you're struggling. But I want you to remember something. You are not alone. Millions of people in this country are going through exactly what you're going through, and help may actually be on the way this time. This channel exists to keep you informed and help you find resources. We're going to keep following this $2,000 stimulus dividend check story and giving you updates as they happen. As soon as Congress votes on this, as soon as Trump signs the final bill, as soon as payment dates are announced, I'm going to make a video about it immediately. If this video helped you understand what's happening with these $2,000 checks, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the updates. Turn on notifications because when these payments start going out, you're going to want to know immediately. And listen, I need to hear from you. Do you support these $2,000 checks from President Trump? If you do, write in the comment section, I support $2,000 checks. Remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Your voice matters, and politicians pay attention to what people are saying online. If you have any questions at all about eligibility, timing, or how these checks will work, leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to answer each and every question. This channel will always be with you in your good times and difficult times. And if you need help right now, today, before these stimulus checks arrive, go check out our video on emergency assistance programs available in your state. We've got links to food banks, utility assistance, rent help, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, and so much more. Don't wait for this stimulus check. Get help now with programs that are already up and running. Remember, friends, you deserve dignity, you deserve respect, and you deserve support. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed for needing help. We all need help sometimes, and that's exactly what these $2,000 checks are supposed to be. Help for hardworking Americans who are struggling through no fault of their own. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. This content is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial, legal, or investment advice. Always consult official government sources or a qualified professional before taking any action regarding Social Security, stimulus checks, or other financial matters. The information provided here reflects publicly available data and expert opinions at the time of recording and may change over time.